What could be the consequences when a former president is entangled in a civil fraud case? How would it impact a city's economy, particularly when the city is New York? This is no hypothetical scenario. Former President Donald Trump is currently embroiled in a civil fraud case that has sent shockwaves through the city that never sleeps. Following a ruling against Trump, New York Attorney General Letitia James has publicly floated the possibility of seizing Trump properties if he fails to pay the nearly $500 million fine. The legal implications of this case are complex and far-reaching. Trump has been ordered to cough up nearly $355 million and is barred from doing business in New York for 3 years. These are severe restrictions that would be challenging for any business person, let alone a former president. Trump's legal team, in response, is scrambling to request a delay in the enforcement of the judgment. This situation puts Trump in a tight spot. It's become increasingly difficult for him to borrow money from any New York institution to pay off the fine. This presents a massive hurdle given the enormity of the fine. The fallout from this case isn't limited to just Trump. The tremors are being felt across New York's business and investment landscape. The city, renowned for its bustling real estate market and attractive investment opportunities, is now shrouded in uncertainty. Investors and real estate developers are treading carefully, perhaps hesitant to engage in business or lend money in New York due to the precedent set by this case. The consequences of this case extend beyond the legal and financial realm. It's also stirring up a political storm and raising questions about New York's economic future. Critics argue that the case could discourage businesses from investing in New York, potentially causing an estimated $10 billion in lost direct investment over the next decade. The Trump saga, it seems, is far from over, and its repercussions are being felt far and wide, not just legally but economically too. The case has widespread implications, not just for Trump, but for the future business prospects of New York City. In the wake of the civil fraud ruling against former President Trump, the business landscape of the Big Apple is being reshaped. A cloud of uncertainty now looms over investors and real estate developers alike. The fear is palpable. It's rooted in the precedent this case sets. Imagine you're an investor or a real estate developer. You're considering doing business or lending money in New York, but then, you see a former president, a business mogul, losing his ability to do business in the city for 3 whole years. You see a near $500 million fine slapped on him. It's a chilling scenario, one that could make you think twice, thrice about whether New York is the right place for your money. This case doesn't just impact Trump. It sends shockwaves through the investment community. It's a wake-up call, reminding everyone in the business world of the potential risks involved when investing in New York. It's not just about the immediate repercussions for Trump's business and investments. It's also about the long-term impact on the city's ability to attract investment, to foster growth, and to remain a global business hub. The ripple effects of this case are being felt in the business world, potentially altering the future of investment in New York City. The political and economic consequences of this case are raising eyebrows and causing concern. Critics argue that the ruling could set a chilling precedent, especially for the business community. With nearly $500 million in fines hanging like a Damocles sword over former President Trump, there's a palpable sense of unease that's rippling through the corridors of power and Wall Street alike. The fear is that this case may discourage businesses from investing in New York, a city that has long been a global hub for commerce and innovation. The stakes are high. We're not just talking about a few $1 million here or there. The estimated fallout could be as much as $10 billion in lost direct investment over the next decade. Yes, you heard it right, $10 billion. That's a staggering amount of money that could otherwise be spent on infrastructure, job creation, and fueling the city's economic engine. But it's not just about the money. The case has also raised questions about the rule of law, the role of politics in business, and the future of New York as an attractive destination for global capital. It's a complex web of issues that go far beyond the immediate legal troubles of a former president. The political and economic implications of this case are far-reaching, with potential long-term consequences for New York City's economy. In response to the situation, a Truckers for Trump movement has emerged, with some truckers planning to boycott New York City. This protest is a reaction to the recent civil fraud ruling against former President Donald Trump in New York, and the potential seizure of his properties if he fails to pay the nearly $500 million fine. The Truckers for Trump movement is a collective of truckers who are not only supportive of Trump, but also disapprove of the ruling against him. These truckers have started planning a boycott of New York City as a form of protest. This is not just a political statement, it is also a manifestation of discontent with the perceived injustices against Trump. The boycott, however, is not without its critics. Some argue that it is merely a symbolic gesture, unlikely to have any real economic impact on New York City. After all, the trucking industry itself is facing broader challenges, from rising fuel costs to a shortage of drivers, that could potentially dwarf the impact of any boycott. Others, however, view the boycott as a significant threat to New York City's economy. The city relies heavily on the trucking industry for the transportation of goods, and any disruption to this service could potentially have widespread effects. The city's grocery stores, for instance, could face shortages, while construction projects could be delayed due to a lack of materials. The potential economic impact of the boycott is also a point of contention. Some argue that it could significantly hurt the city's economy, while others believe that its impact will be minimal, considering the size and diversity of New York City's economy. Regardless of the boycott's potential impact, it's clear that the Truckers for Trump movement is adding a new layer of complexity to the ongoing saga surrounding Trump's civil fraud case. It's a vivid illustration of how the case is not just a legal matter, but also a deeply political one, with far-reaching consequences that go beyond the courtroom. Whether these boycotts will significantly impact the economy remains to be seen, but they are certainly adding a new dimension to the ongoing Trump saga.